Good evening and welcome to the 6 p.m. special City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present, with Councilmember Lopez joining us electronically, and Councilmember Nadolski has asked to be excused. First up, we have a Pledge of Allegiance that will be offered by Vice Chair White.
Please rise if you are able. And repeat after me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. We would now ask that you join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. First up, we have a recognition for Hispanic Heritage Month, and this will be a special one. We'll have Councilmember Lopez and Councilmember Chiburka tag team this. So we'll turn the time over to Councilmember Lopez.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just adjusting my lights here because it started getting dark. So give me just 1 second here. All right. So thank you for the opportunity to read this proclamation, and welcome to Dr. Enrique Romo, who is joining us here from Weber State University. Dr. Romo, welcome. And
thank you for having us, for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to read the proclamation in Spanish, and here I go. Esta es una proclamación conjunta del Consejo de la Ciudad de Ogden y el alcalde, declarando el 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre del 2021 el mes de la herencia hispana en la ciudad de Ogden. Mientras que a lo largo de la historia de Ogden, la gente ha venido de todas partes del mundo para llamar a nuestra casa de la comunidad. Esta rica diversidad proporciona un carácter de la comunidad que se distingue de todas las otras ciudades en Utah. Tener una población diversa enriquece nuestra comunidad y sirve como uno de nuestros mayores activos. Y mientras que los individuos y las familias que son hispano-latina y viven en Ogden tienen una influencia profunda y positiva en nuestra comunidad a través de su firme compromiso con la familia, la fe, el trabajo duro y el servicio. Mejoran y dan forma a nuestro carácter local con las tradiciones que reflejan sus orígenes multiétnicas y multiculturales. Y mientras que los hispanos y latinos de Ogden fortalecen nuestra comunidad y traen mucha promesa a nuestro futuro a través de sus contribuciones culturales, sociales, económicas y de caridad significativas, el mes de la Hispanidad celebra las historias, culturas y contribuciones de los residentes cuyos antepasados vinieron de México, Centro, Sudamérica, España y el Caribe. Y mientras que en el año 1968 el Congreso de Estados Unidos y el presidente Lyndon B. Johnson aprobaron la primera resolución para celebrar la Semana de la Herencia Hispana, más tarde fue ampliado por el presidente Ronald Reagan para incluir una celebración de un mes, del 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre. Estas fechas fueron seleccionadas para coincidir con el Día de la Independencia de 8 países: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, México, Chile y Belice. Y mientras que este mes conmemorativo rinde homenaje a la influencia y el impacto de los hispanos y latinos en todas las esferas de la sociedad, conmemorando el mes de la hispanidad nos da a cada uno la oportunidad de enorgullecernos de estas raíces y ayudar a promover la rica diversidad que estos cultivos tienen que ofrecer. Por lo tanto, el Ayuntamiento de Ogden y el alcalde Michael P. Caldwell presentan esta proclamación del 15 de septiembre al 15 de octubre, el mes de la herencia hispana en la ciudad de Ogden. Presentamos o expresamos nuestra sincera gratitud y reconocimiento al doctor Enrique Romo y a la Oficina de Acceso y Diversidad de Weber State University y a todos los demás dentro de nuestra comunidad que están trabajando para abrazar culturas hispano-latinas y mejorar la integración de los inmigrantes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if I can follow up so nicely. I'll try my best. This is declaring September 15th to October 15th, 2021, Hispanic Heritage Month in Ogden City. Whereas throughout the history of Ogden, people have come from all parts of the globe to call our community home. This rich diversity provides a community character that is distinctive from all other cities in Utah. Having a diverse population enriches our community and serves as one of our greatest assets. And whereas the individuals and families who are Hispanic Latino and live in Ogden have a profound and positive influence in our community through their strong commitment to family, faith, hard work, and service. They enhance and shape our local character with traditions that reflect their multi-ethnic and multicultural backgrounds. And whereas the Hispanic and Latino people of Ogden strengthen our community and bring much promise to our future through their significant cultural, social, economic, and charitable contributions. Hispanic Heritage Month celebrates the histories, cultures, and contributions of residents whose ancestors came from Mexico, Central and South America, Spain, and the Caribbean. And whereas in 1968, the United States Congress and President Lyndon B. Johnson passed the first resolution to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Week. This was later expanded on by President Ronald Reagan to include a month-long celebration from September 15th to October 15th. These dates were selected to coincide with the Independence Day of 8 countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Mexico, Chile, and Belize. And whereas this commemorative month honors the influence and impact of Hispanics and Latinos in all spheres of society, commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month gives us each an opportunity to take pride in these roots and to help promote the rich diversity that these cultures have to offer. Now, therefore, the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell hereby proclaim September 15th to October 15th, 2021, Hispanic Heritage Month in Ogden City. We express our sincere gratitude and recognition to Dr. Enrique Romo, the Weber State University Office of Access and Diversity, and all others within our community who are working to embrace Hispanic Latino cultures and improve immigration integration. Passed and adopted this 14th day of September, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Yeah, usually we would clap.
Is it my turn?
Well, let us go ahead and take the motion first. I thought somebody would like to give a motion.
Yes, I apologize. I make a motion to pass this resolution.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Chaburka and a second by Councilmember Heyer to adopt this joint proclamation. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. And we do have Dr. Enrique Romo with us here tonight. So thank you, and we'd love to hear from you.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. And my apologies. I was so excited. I didn't mean to jump ahead of what you all have to do. So please accept my apologies. And sorry I can't be there in person, but I really wanted to thank you so much for this proclamation and the recognition, right? It means everything to have the Ogden City Council recognize the work that we do in student affairs, especially within access and diversity here at Weber State University. As you know, we're heavily involved and vested in our students' success. And this acknowledgement is part of our students' success. Again, I wish I could be there in person, but, the meaning and the significance of this proclamation is enormous. Just to tell you a little bit, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I don't know if you're aware, but we, as an institution, Weber State University, is working to become an emerging Hispanic serving institution. And this recognition kind of aligns with those future goals. Again, we could expand a little bit more on that. I know that we will have the opportunity to see each other again in person on October 12th to accept this proclamation in person and to chat with you about our work and how it is that we're working on coalescing around this idea of becoming an emerging Hispanic serving institution. On that day, we're also going to be bringing some of our students, our student leaders, so they can also share with you the work that they do on campus around Hispanic, Latinx issues and their cultures and traditions. So again, thank you so much for being so accommodating. I'm actually in Colorado right now, attending a conference, but this means the world. I really appreciate it very much. Thank you for the honor.
Thank you, Dr. Romo. And thanks for touching on that also. We wanted to make sure that we got this approved today so that we could go ahead and set that the month for September 15th through October. And as you mentioned, we're going to have you and some students come back on October 12th, and we look forward to that too. So thank you for being here tonight, and we look forward to seeing and meeting with you again in person. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you, and have a great evening. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Gracias, compadre.
Cuídate mucho y pórtense bien.
Okay. Next up, we have public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding concerns or ideas on any topic. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Aline Evans, and I'm a homeowner at 1050 North in Ogden. And I'm asking to address you about a property at 550 East, 900 North. A church building is being demolished and the property is being redeveloped. A developer has submitted a request to change the current single-family housing zoning to be increased for multi-family dwellings and a higher density in the area. Ogden City is currently over 50% rental properties. 900 North is the access to a high-density mobile home park. The traffic onto Washington Boulevard at 900 North is extremely congested, hazardous, and deadly currently. Rental apartment complexes do not increase neighborhood home values, nor do they create pride of ownership. Transitional housing does not build stability in a neighborhood. Crime rates are higher, and rental properties and disproportionate fees for law enforcement, fire, and other services are a concern. Absentee landlords/owners are not always invested in the maintenance and care and well-being and beauty of their rentals and influence in the neighborhood. Ogden has recently experienced a huge increase of apartment complexes and high density throughout the city. This is a great concern for the single-family home owner. The Planning Commission, City Council, and administration should not feel obligated to change zoning regulations for developers to make more money at the expense of the homeowners and those in the area that have a vested interest in their neighborhoods and for what could be a future improvement. We could use nice affordable homes, patio homes in the area, but not apartment complexes. It's a great concern for us. Ogden City no longer has long-range planning as in the past. In the past, a larger vision would have been looked at for development such as this. A planning commission would have had a larger picture for their decision-making. The planning department would have considered the full impact of a particular project in a development. The deeper investigation to codes submitted for the plans could possibly have allowed these apartment complexes around town to have safer, more appealing setbacks, like the one on Wall Avenue that's right on the sidewalk. That's going to be really difficult. The north end of town has many existing multifamily dwellings. The area has high density. The Care Apartments is a very large complex. There are new complexes on North Harrisville Road and approximately 455 East 2nd Street. All of the city's multiple mobile home parks are all north of 12th Street. So it's a really high density area. And so for changing a zone to allow for higher density without taking really deep consideration for the existing homeowners in the area is what our concern is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, it might be well to mention Mrs. Evans was a Ogden City employee till recently when she retired.
I'm Judy Lewis. I live at 640 East North, and it is I who call all of you council members with my concerns, and hopefully you got my message. I heard back from 2 of you, which I appreciated very much hearing from. But I'm agreement with several of us that are here today that we do not need our zoning changed to accommodate a high-rise apartment building at 900 North Street. I have lived on our home for 62 years at that address. When we first moved into that home, it was an incorporated area where we was paying $150 for each one of our homes that was being built for Pineview water to be brought in our backyard, which we never did get. It only got far as Washington or Monroe Boulevard. We also was paying taxes to North Ogden Cemetery and also paying for Bonavista water. It was not until Ogden City incorporated that to be part of their city that we became part of Ogden City property. And since then, we have fought to get most of those things removed. We won our case with the Bonavista water. We won our case with the North Ogden Cemetery. But now we are here to continue our concerns for our community. Like was just stated, we do not want apartments building at 900 North. Like Aline just said, if you go on 900 North after 5 o'clock, there is no parking facilities inside the park there for the residents who are visiting, for people who are visiting the residents there in the mobile home park, the park. So they are parking on both sides of the street of 900 North. And sometimes it is so congested that you can't even get one car down there at a time. And this here building would only just increase that use of 900 North. And so we are very, very concerned. And so I am asking you if you would consider not voting for the change in the current zone that is being presented to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Any other public comments? Please.
Well, my name is Russell, 661 East, 925 North. I agree with everything that my neighbors here have said. The one concern that I have is the school. Putting a high-rise apartment complex in there overloads the elementary school that my son and my grandchildren go to. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Don Ray, and I live at 41 East, 1100 North, up above on 1100 North. But my concern is also with what has been mentioned and said. Just like to add the fact that coming off of Wall Avenue to Larson Lane, and then I think they're building some housing or something at the corner there. I think all of that's just going to accumulate even more so with everything else that's been mentioned, and I think it's going to be pretty hazardous and a little bit scary, at least coming down 1100 and trying to get from some of the infrastructure, the streets that we're going through at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Ogden City Council. I'd like to take the time to say thank you for serving your community. I know you have a lot of tough decisions. You do a hell of a job, okay? Now that's out of the way. Like these people and these folks said, okay? Come out there, take a look. We're a community. We're building. We're striving. It used to be Ron Clare was bad, bad, bad to the bone. It's cleaned up. Why? We have homes. We're pushing people to put siding on their house, keep their lawns moved. But you put another housing in there and it's going to, I don't know. That's where you get the little bucks to make the big decisions, I know. But please give some thought to this. These are our homes. These are our lives. I've lived there for 42 years. I don't mind people, but you can go up and down Washington and you see apartment complex now for rent that's been vacant off Washington Boulevard to the left, right? Coming out of Walmart, those out, go down the street, the ones down the road. That's all I'm saying. We need your help. We know that. We all know that. It's tough decisions. But go look at these new apartments they're building. We don't know exactly what they're going to make. I don't think any of us knows what kind of things they're going to put in. All we know is they're going to, boop. We heard they're going to, boop, put them up. Just take a look at it and really give it some seriously thought. There's a lot of us old people out there. But just think about it for a while. How would you like one of these big apartment complexes into your housing neighborhood? Thank you. God bless you. And thank you for everything you've done.
Can you give us your name for the record?
Oh, what was your name?
I'm an escaped convict. No, my name is Donald C. Hughes. I've lived here in Ogden now for 42 years.
Thanks.
This is my community. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for your service.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments from anyone here? I know we have a couple online that want to join or have some comments also. So if there's none left in the chambers, we'll go ahead and take the comments from those joining us electronically. That looks like Angel Castilla has her hand raised. Go ahead, Angel. The time is yours.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair Blair. My name is Angel Castillo. I am an Ogden resident, and I'm really excited that people are showing up at chambers and letting their voices be heard. And I know that that's important to you because not a lot of people show up consistently. I would, however, like to offer up some information that is from an economic and fiscal impact of multifamily housing from the Harvard Center of Housing at Harvard University. Arlene and Judy and Russell and Don all made claims that renters bring crime, that they don't, anytime that you bring in density, there's going to be a problem. And this is a quote from the report. In actuality, when police data is analyzed on a per unit basis, the rate of police activity in apartment communities is no worse than a single family subdivision, and in many cases lower than single family areas. And that has everything to do with how the data is analyzed by instead of per unit versus per address. And the report also goes on to say how renters are invested in the community. They are, quote, at the very least as invested in their communities as a homeowner. It is found that apartment residents are almost twice as likely to socialize with their neighbors as homeowners and are equally as likely to take part in structured social groups, have an interest in politics, identify closely to their town or city. The study found renters are only slightly less likely to attend religious services. So the long and the short of it, here's another quote. Put simply, these objective measures undermine the notion that apartment residents somehow don't care about and don't involve themselves in the community in which they live. On the contrary, they tend to be at least as socially engaged as other Americans. So I just want to make sure that y'all are thinking about that, and I'm happy to send you that study. But I'd also like to point out something that probably is really important to Arlene, Judy, Russell, and Don, and it has to do with the type of housing and the variety. As you saw in the work session with Ward Ogden's presentation, when I'm thrilled to see that we're going to have an actual study for Ogden. If you want to buy, the median home price here is increased by 33%, and it's $324,000. So you need to change some of the zoning to allow for smaller units for purchase, both single family homes and condos and duplexes, and have a plan. You don't just put super high density in an area, you filter it throughout the city. And I think we really need to stop being reactive, start being proactive, and start looking at these things of providing different housing options, both for renting and for buying, with our zoning and supporting that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angel. Okay. Any other public comment? Seeing none, thank you to everyone that participated in public comments tonight. And moving on to comments from the administration.
Thank you. It was fun to hear the public comment, and I think it's the first time in my 20 years of coming to council meeting anyone's ever said bad to the bone in a council meeting. I like that. I just wanted to say while Aline is here, how much we enjoyed her and her many years of service here at the city. She was amazing, did an amazing job, and we really haven't had an opportunity in a public format to say thank you. So we say thanks. That's all I have tonight.
Okay. Comments from council members?
I have, I'd like to make a few comments. I do enjoy the presentations of our public today. I think you outlined your situations very well. And whenever I look at a project, I look at the programs coming, and the question I ask myself, is it a benefit to the community? Most important of all, is it a benefit to the neighborhood? And the third one is, will it stabilize and strengthen the neighborhood? And I think those are the three elements that we need to look at and consider. So I appreciate the comments here. I've received several emails on the question of wearing a mask and the mask mandate. And I wondered if it would be possible for Mark, if you would maybe comment of what programs we have both for the city and coming into our buildings. I know we don't have a mask mandate. The other thing is that I have a hard time understanding that we can dictate to the school district of what programs they should administer. But I'll wait for the comments along those lines there.
The mask mandate, the only thing we can make a mask mandate is in our own buildings. We've been talking about it, and we've chosen not to this point. We've encouraged those who are unvaccinated to wear masks when they're in the building. As far as telling the school districts what they can or can't do, there's a law that's been passed by the legislature earlier in the year that prohibits anyone from doing that, with the exception of the health department can declare a health emergency mandate, and these commissioners have the right to determine whether they agree with it or not and whether it'll stay. So as we review the law, we see nothing in there that gives the city any authority over anything other than our own buildings.
I appreciate that, Mark.
Chair, I want to thank these good folks that have come tonight. I appreciate their comments. They are people from Municipal District 2. They're my folks, so I appreciate them coming forward. This is an issue that I think tends to be, it's nuanced, let's put it that way. I think it is, Angel cited some studies, and you can find a study that will tell you about anything. Real life practical experience teaches you some other things, and I think these people are noting what is current and what is on the ground in Municipal District 2, and is very relevant to that area. And so I hope that you as my colleagues will listen closely to their concerns, as you don't live there, and probably don't experience the same type of community flavor as they do. So I just say that.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Or, any other comments from council members? I was just going to, sorry, go ahead if you want. I was just going to say I had the opportunity Saturday to attend the 9/11 memorial out at the fairgrounds. It was wonderfully done. It was very neat to see so many people from not only our community, but from Weber County as a whole. The parking lot was full. We walked through and every room was full. Every booth had people at it. It was really neat. It was neat to see how many children were there learning about it and wanting to know and getting to know more about that. And the sense of pride and patriotism that it provided for everyone there. So I just want to thank all those that put that on, for the opportunity we had as a community to attend it and to learn from that. And so it was just a wonderful event and a wonderful time. So did you have something?
Yeah, I just also want to, I quickly want to say, I would really encourage people that are not vaccinated to get vaccinated. We have several hospitals right now that are at capacity. Their ICUs are not, you can't, hopefully none of us will get into a car accident tonight, because finding an ICU bed is almost non-existent. Many of our hospitals have quit doing elective surgeries. So, and it comes right down to things like, if I have cancer and I need something removed, it becomes an elective surgery, and who knows when I will get in to be able to take care of that. So I don't have cancer, but I was using that as an example. I'm just encouraging everyone to do so. And if you don't do that, please wear a mask until this passes. So thanks.
Okay. I'll give Councilmember Stevens one more chance to make a prediction about Saturday's game, and then we can go ahead and move on.
Weber State by 5.
That would be great. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer to adjourn this meeting and a second by Councilmember Chaburka. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
We have one more meeting. It's a lot of fun to be here. Appreciate it. It'd be great if you stayed, but you don't have to. So.
It's good to see you all.
Yep. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Elaine. Mr.
You can make more comments if you want, if you stay.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Redevelopment Agency meeting for Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. Let the roll call reflect that all board members are present. Make a note that Board Member Lopez is joining us electronically, and Board Member Nadolski has asked to be excused. First up, we have 2 items from under the reports from administration, and we have Brandon Cooper here tonight to present on those.
Great, thank you. Appreciate your time tonight. We'll be as brief as we can. I'm happy to answer any questions as we go along. So before you is a request to set a public hearing for the flagship community reinvestment project area draft, project area plan, and budget. I'll just take a few minutes if I can move through this. There we go. As we discussed previously in a work session, the purpose of this project area is to support the growth of Amer Sports in our community. As you know, they have a headquarter location that was established in 2007 out at the American Center. And they approached us in 2018 to to request some facilitation and support for an expansion of a distribution center out in BDO. As you recall, or some of you may recall, in 2018 we approached the board and discussed this in concept, and now we're back to formally establish the actual project area for the incentive. So I'll just take a minute to discuss the terms of the plan and answer any questions. So this is the actual boundary of the project area. It is a single building. It's comprised of 2 parcels. So it's not usual in the case of establishing these in the past, but this is the building they're occupying, so it would not encompass anything outside of that yellow line. We looked at a budget of how this might take place and what would be contributory to the budget, and at this point we're proposing in the draft plan the use of personal property tax and real property tax. The distribution center would be about a 480,000 square foot building, 100 to 155 jobs, and the significant contribution would come in the form of equipment for the building, about a $30 million anticipated expenditure over a 10-year period. In addition to the occupants, the build out of the interior of the building and the ongoing future valuation, we anticipate this to be a $36 to $50 million investment over the 10-year period. That would bring those jobs, not to mention the jobs that it takes to stand up that kind of a production inside of the building. So we believe there is significant public benefit, even though it is a small project area. As you probably know, AMR has been a catalytic entity in terms of our desire to establish an outdoor recreation industry cluster. They have been significant in aiding us with cachet and familiar FAM tours and those kind of things to help other companies come to the city and to relocate and to see what wonderful things we have to offer here. So they've been direct benefit to us over the years and continue to be a direct benefit throughout the proposed 10-year project area timeframe. So here's some of the numbers. That single area in that yellow box that I just showed you has a value currently of about $20 million. After the project expenditures that we anticipate from AMR, we anticipate that the added valuation would be up to $50 million. So that's where the incremental value happens between the 20 and the 50. We would propose 10 years with 100% participation rate by 3 entities: Ogden City, Ogden School District, and Weber County. You can see that those would be maximum contributions from those entities. We've approached both the school district and the county, and they have both approved interlocal agreements with those amounts. So those interlocal agreements are approved and subject to the final approval of the project area plan and budget by the RDA board. So in total, the maximum collectible by the agency over the 10-year period would be roughly $2.9 million. Of that, there would be 2.4 available for the incentive, which is in line with what was discussed in 2018 with AMR Sports, leaving about $450,000 for administrative costs and housing over that 10-year period. Any questions?
Just real quick. So it's a 10-year commitment. If they leave before then, which I hope they don't, but what happens then?
In the participation and incentive agreement, we would link their occupancy to the incentive. And we've also tried to coincide our incentive with their lease term. So we know that they've at least got that amount of time on their lease.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Nope. Any discussion, or if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Chair, I would make a motion then that we set the public hearing on Resolution 2021-13 for October 19th, 2021.
I second it.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a motion for proposed resolution 2021-13 to set the public hearing for October 19th, 2021 by Board Member Heyer and a second by Board Member Stevens. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. And then we have Brandon Cooper again for the Recreation Center naming rights agreement.
Yes, this is an associated action regarding the naming rights for the Solomon Center, which is the rec center over at the Junction. In 2007, when Amer Sports came to the city, it was negotiated then that naming rights would be given to them for that facility. In that agreement, it allows them some extension rights, and so this request is to continue that naming right on their behalf for the Solomon Center. It would go through another 2034 would be the extended term, so that would essentially maintain the name that's currently there. If Amer Sports, to your question, terminates their occupancy in the city, then that naming right would also terminate. And then it doesn't preclude any other signage that could happen on the building. As you know, the redevelopment agency owns the building, and there's other tenants in that building, so other signage can take place there as well. And if there's any conduct that is engaged by Amer that is not conducive to our standards and principles, then that naming right can be revoked as well. So it's pretty straightforward. It would maintain the benefit that we've held over all of these years to have such a prominent name associated with one of our buildings, and it would maintain the benefit that they receive to have their brand out there in the community.
Brandon, are they paying any value or money for the naming rights? How does that work?
We're not proposing that now. The consideration initially was their relocation to the city. So that was part of the bargaining that took place when they moved their North American headquarters to the Amer building. And so we felt that it was important to maintain that relationship as the expansion takes place.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would entertain a motion on this item.
Chair, I'll make a motion that we, for proposed resolution 2021-14, to set the public hearing for October 19th, 2021.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a motion on proposed resolution 2021-14 to set the public hearing for October 19th, 2021 by Board Member Stevens and a second by Board Member Heyer. This too is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Next up, we have public comments. This is an opportunity to address the board regarding any concerns or ideas. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Oh, and state your name and address for the record. Looks like we have one. Angel Castillo. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, board members. Angel Castillo, Ogden resident. I'd like to direct your attention as an RDA and as a city council, since you are both the same folks, to remember Ogden's 5-year consolidated plan. And it's a big document, and the things that I want to remind you about as it pertains to the project that was just spoke about for 550 East 900. Your con plan is the strategic blueprint for how you're going to address housing, moderate income persons and neighborhoods over the next 5 years. And your con plan calls out that the first thing is the creation of quality and decent, affordable housing. And then on page 6, housing projects that increase the amount of decent, affordable, and quality housing within reasonable proximity to employment and transportation is a priority. That's your plan. That's your goals and your responsibilities as you're driving things down. And while I appreciate the comment that council member and board member Heyer made with regards to you can find a study about anything, I encourage you to question the authority and origin. And Harvard and MIT CoLab is one of the nation's leading voices on how to create affordability and move people through cities. So I think you should always consider that. And then I'd also like you to consider, back when Imagine Jefferson was being built, there were a whole bunch of people saying the exact same thing. Crime is going to go up, property values are going to go down, and none of those things happened. So it's terribly important that you consider the whole piece. And I've said it a million times before, I highly encourage you to come up with a plan that addresses all of the housing. Where does the missing middle go? How are we going to allow these projects in here? How are we going to change our code to allow smaller setbacks and smaller units so that people can get more affordable housing and purchase so that they can actually build equity and wealth through home ownership? That's what everybody wants. And I'd like to also point out that Luis had brought up Councilmember Lopez had brought up a really good point in the work session about how you think that you served everybody and then all of a sudden a bunch of people show up. It's a key process. Not a lot of people understand how it works. And you might want to consider on your notice in an explanation of the project that you need people to show up prior to. A lot of folks see those notices and think, oh, this is when it's going to be talked about, so then I'm going to show up and I'm going to have my voice heard. That's probably where you're running in there. And I think it's very important if you appoint a transportation committee to work on a plan that you heed their advice, because then you're just completely ignoring what that particular community says it wants. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like we have another hand raised. Go ahead, Heath Sato. The time is yours.
Hi, Heath Sato, Ogden resident. I got to say I was more than a little disappointed to hear a council person just outright dismiss a well-done study without even having looked at it. So I would expect better in the future from council members than to just dismiss their citizens like that. She wasn't citing OAN or Newsmax. This was an actual real study. The other thing I wanted to comment on was the Amer Sports thing. I think they're a great part of our community, and I'm just wondering, are we giving them this $3 million as just a reward? Or will they actually said they're not going to expand in Ogden without that 10% of their budget added into the benefits? This money does come out of our pockets ultimately. I know there's some magic with the way the numbers are run to say, we'll get that money back in the future. But if they're going to do this anyways without that incentive, then we can have $3 million more of our tax dollars spent on other things. And that's it. That's what I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Heath. Okay. Seeing no other public comments, I would turn the time over to, or if there's any comments from the executive director.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And comments from board members. Okay, then I would entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There we go. Thank you. We have a motion by board member Heyer and a second by board member Chaburka to adjourn this meeting. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.